I thought it would be simple. Meet his mom, smile politely, compliment the house, endure a few awkward questions about my job, my family, my plans. Then leave with a polite hug and the quiet relief of having survived an important milestone. That was the script playing in my head as I stood on the front porch, smoothing my palms against my coat while Daniel rang the bell. "She's really excited to meet you," he said, squeezing my hand. His voice carried that familiar calm, steady, reassuring, the sound of someone who believed the world was mostly kind. I smiled back, though something in my stomach tightened. "I'm excited too." It wasn't a lie. Just, not the whole truth. The door opened almost immediately. His mother stood there, tall and composed, her dark hair swept back neatly as if nothing in her life was ever out of place. Her eyes landed on me and lingered, not rude, not unfriendly, just thorough. Like she was memorizing my face. Then she smiled. "Emily," she said warmly. "You're even prettier than Daniel said." Relief loosened my shoulders. Compliments were good, normal, safe. "Thank you, Mrs. Carter." "Oh, please," she laughed softly, stepping aside. "Call me Margaret. Come in." The house smelled faintly of lemon polish and something floral, lavender, maybe. Every surface gleamed. The floors shone so brightly I could see my own reflection as I walked. It wasn't the warm, cluttered kind of home I'd grown up in. It was precise, curated. Family photos lined the walls. Daniel as a child, missing teeth and grinning. Daniel in a school uniform. Daniel at graduation, taller, serious. In every picture, Margaret stood beside him, her hand resting on his shoulder or arm. No father. I noticed that immediately. The absence felt intentional, like a name no one said out loud. "Make yourself comfortable," Daniel said, taking my coat. "I'll grab us some drinks." Margaret tilted her head. "Actually, Daniel, could you help me with something in the kitchen?" "Sure," he replied without hesitation. He kissed my cheek. "I'll be right back." As they disappeared down the hallway, the quiet settled in. Not an empty quiet, more like the kind that listens. I wandered closer to the photos, studying them. In every image, Daniel looked happy, but there was something else too. A tightness in his posture. A way his smile never quite reached his eyes when his mother stood too close. A door clicked behind me. I turned, expecting Daniel. It was Margaret. She closed the door. The sound was soft, but final. Like a lock clicking into place. "I hope you don't mind," she said calmly. "I wanted a moment alone with you." My smile stayed on my face, though it felt fragile now. "Of course not." She gestured toward the sofa. "Please, sit." I sat. She remained standing, arms loosely crossed, watching me the way someone watches a chessboard mid-game. "You care about my son," she said. Not a question. "Yes," I answered. "Very much." "How long have you been together?" "Almost a year." Her eyes narrowed slightly, calculating. "And you believe you know him?" I hesitated. "I know the person he is with me." A small smile touched her lips. "That's what they all believe." The word all echoed in my mind. "I'm sorry," I asked. Margaret sat across from me, crossing her legs with practiced elegance. "Daniel is exceptional. Kind, attentive, loyal." "Yes," I said quickly. "He really is. He learned that here," she said. "From me." I made sure he understood the importance of devotion. Of family. "That's admirable," I said. Her gaze sharpened. "Is it?" The room felt warmer suddenly, the air heavier. "Because family," she continued, "isn't just affection. It's duty, sacrifice, knowing when to step aside for the greater good." I nodded slowly. "I understand." "Good." She leaned forward. "Then, you won't mind me asking about your intentions?" "My intentions? With Daniel?" My throat tightened. "I love him. I want a future with him." "What kind of future?" "A shared one," I said. "Building a life together." Margaret's smile faded. "Normal," she murmured, as if tasting the word. "Yes," I said carefully. "Normal." She stood and walked toward the window, gazing out at the perfectly trimmed garden. "Normal rarely lasts," she said. "Especially when people don't understand what they're stepping into." I shifted on the couch. "Daniel makes his own choices." For the briefest moment, something cold flickered across her face. "Of course he does," she replied smoothly. "And he chose you." She turned back to me. "But choices can be influenced." My heart skipped. "Influenced how?" "Protected," she corrected. "From mistakes. Footsteps echoed faintly down the hall. Daniel was coming back. Margaret lowered her voice. "This stays between us," she said. "For now." She reached for the door. "Loving my son means understanding that I will always come first." The door opened. Daniel walked in with 2 glasses, smiling. "Everything okay?" Margaret's warmth returned instantly. "Perfect." I took the glass he offered, my hand trembling slightly. "Yes," I said. But as I met Margaret's eyes over the rim of the glass, I realized something unsettling. I hadn't been welcomed. I'd been evaluated. And whatever test she'd just given me, I wasn't sure I'd passed. The table was set with matching china, folded napkins arranged like swans, candles placed with mathematical precision. Every bite tasted carefully prepared, seasoned perfectly, yet each chew felt like a performance. Margaret watched me constantly, not openly, but through reflections in polished silverware, through the way her eyes lingered just a second too long when she thought I wasn't looking. Daniel, oblivious, chatted easily. He talked about work, about a promotion he was hoping for, about the apartment we'd been planning to move into together. Each time he mentioned we, Margaret's smile tightened just enough for me to notice. "So," she said lightly, slicing into her food, "have you decided how close you'll be living to us?" I blinked. "Us?" Daniel laughed. "Mom means her place. She likes knowing I'm nearby." "Nearby," Margaret repeated. "Very nearby. We were thinking downtown," Daniel continued. "Closer to work." The knife paused. "That's quite far," Margaret said. "It's only 20 minutes, he replied. 20 minutes can feel like a lifetime, she said softly. I felt her gaze slide toward me. "Especially when emergencies happen." "What kind of emergencies?" I asked. Margaret smiled. "Oh, you know. Illness. Loneliness. Accidents." Daniel waved it off. "Mom, you're perfectly healthy." She reached across the table and rested her hand on his. For now. The rest of the meal passed under that shadow. Every topic circled back to Daniel, his schedule, his stress levels, the sacrifices she'd made raising him alone. The unspoken message was clear, he owed her. After dessert, Daniel stood. "I'll help clean up." "No," Margaret said quickly. "You've had a long day. Emily and I will take care of it." I hesitated, then nodded. "Of course." The moment Daniel left the room, the air shifted again. Margaret carried plates to the sink with deliberate calm. "You're good for him," she said without looking at me. My shoulders relaxed slightly. "Thank you. You keep him calm," she continued. "Focused." I smiled. "That means a lot." She turned suddenly. "That's why I need to be sure you won't distract him." The smile slipped from my face. "Excuse me. Ambition requires sacrifice," she said. "Daniel has a future that depends on discipline. Stability. Not emotional upheaval. I don't think loving someone is upheaval," I said carefully. Margaret dried her hands slowly. "It can be." She walked closer, lowering her voice. "Before you, there was someone else." My heart skipped. "Someone else." "A few, actually," she corrected. "They all started out very supportive. Very loving. And they wanted more of him than I was willing to give." Cold crept up my spine. "What happened to them?" Margaret smiled faintly. Life moved on. Daniel's laughter drifted from the living room. I stared at her. "Did he know?" "Know what?" she asked sweetly. That night, as Daniel drove me home, the streetlights blurred past the window. "She likes you," he said. "I can tell." I forced a smile. "She's intense." He laughed. "That's just how she is. Protective. Does she ever let you make mistakes?" I asked quietly. He paused. "She just wants what's best." At home, I couldn't sleep. My phone buzzed at 2:14 a.m. "Margaret Carter, I hope you got home safely." Another message followed. "Daniel has always needed guidance. I trust you'll respect that." I stared at the screen until it went dark. Over the next weeks, small things began to add up. Daniel canceled dates last minute because his mother wasn't feeling well. Our apartment search stalled because she needed him nearby. When I suggested boundaries, he grew uncomfortable, defensive even. "She's alone," he said. "I can't just abandon her." One afternoon, while Daniel was at work, Margaret called me. "Come by," she said. "I'd like to talk." Against my better judgment, I went. She greeted me warmly, offered tea, sat across from me in the same living room. "You're at a crossroads," she said. "You can either become part of this family, or step away gracefully." Are you asking me to leave him? I whispered. I'm offering you mercy, she replied. I stood. This isn't healthy. Her expression hardened. You don't understand devotion. I walked out shaking. That evening, Daniel confronted me. My mom says you upset her. She threatened me, I said. She would never do that. In that moment, I realized something terrifying. He didn't just love her. He belonged to her. And as I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, my phone buzzed again. Margaret Carter, some doors close for a reason. That was when I understood. The door she closed behind me that first day. It was never meant to open again.